Hey folks, David here on the Vintage Future once again, and today I just want to do a super quick video explaining to you some fit mechanics. I'm not a pro at this, I've just been thinking about this and I kind of had this epiphany the other day. So if you look at a boot like this, or any boot really, sometimes people want it to fit well, and so what they do is they get it as snug as possible. They want it to fit like a glove everywhere, everywhere, like snug as possible. And I was looking at sandals the other day and I realized, what are we doing? That doesn't make any sense. Like, that is not what you would do if you wanted it to fit right. If you look at a sandal, there's going to be straps in strategic locations at anchor points, and it keeps the sandal on just fine. It's like this essentially perfect fit, and yet you don't have leather everywhere. It's just, you'll have one across the instep because that's a key point. You'll have one across the heel, and those two work together to pinch your foot like this. And then you'll really just have like one, maybe two across the ball, right? And maybe an ankle strap or something if it's a taller sandal. But like, you could even remove some of those, like take the ankle strap out, and just have the heel and the instep and that ball strap there. Even if you had just the heel and the instep, that would keep your foot on there really well. If you imagine, like, what would I need to do to keep my foot on a flat board? What are the least amount of straps I could implement to keep my foot secure onto that thing? That's what a lot of these sandal makers are doing. And so when you're looking for a boot that fits well, what you need to do is you need to make sure that that pattern and that design and that last have those anchor points for you. It really has nothing to do with the toe. So often people are like, oh, dude, yeah, I don't know. Like, I want a good fit, so I don't want something with a big toe. And it's like, everything forward of the ball has like nothing to do with how well this thing fits you. You realize that, right? Like as you think about the sandal analogy, like everything here and forward has like zero to do, nothing to do with how well this thing fits you. It's all about how does this part fit you, whether it's got laces or a strap or it's just a pull-on boot, like a side zip. Like, what's going on here, what's going on here, and what's going on right here. Like literally just that location, not behind it, not in front of it. As far as this, it's not above it, not below it, literally right there, right here, and right there. And that's kind of it. And so when I see a boot that's like basically straight up right here, it causes me to question, like, is that really going to cut my heel? I got to be honest, actually all the clinch boots I've had 3. Clinch, it's kind of flat right here. I probably have more heel slip in my clinch boots than any other boot. Now, that could be just my heel, but I will tell you this, see how much of a jog there is here? It's like this massive cup. It's like whoosh. I mean, that cups my heel, like virtually no heel slip. My roll club boots, virtually no heel slip. And it's tightening up with this. And on my roll club boots, same thing. Between the instep and the heel, it pinches my foot in, locks it in. And then you could actually even not have anything right here. Like if you wanted to just cut the whole vamp off right here. Yeah, my foot might slide around on the sole a little bit where the ball is at. But as long as that instep and that heel are locked in, like your foot it's not going anywhere. You know what I mean? So anyways, just wanted to really quickly demystify fit for everyone. Just kind of like deconstruct it in your mind and then look at the boot, and if it fits like a good sandal would fit, where you've got an anchor point here, an anchor point here, and an anchor point right there, like it's probably going to be a good fit. But if any one of those 3 things aren't there, that's okay. Like, I wear my clinch boots all the time and I love it. But just know ahead of time, like, that's just probably not going to be a very good fit for you. But yeah, as far as like the width and all this stuff, like, it's like, look, you just need something pushing down on the top of your foot and something keeping your foot from falling off the edges here. Like, it doesn't need to be super tight right here to have a good fit, It doesn't need to be tight here to have a good fit. You don't need a narrow heel to get a good fit. Like, this heel could be like in theory, it could be like this wide. Like, I could literally like cut the whole side of my boot out. But as long as I have the cup on the back, my heel's going to stay in place. You know what I mean? Because, again, look at a sandal. anything that you see on a sandal like should translate. So just see that, like, there is nothing here on a good sandal. There is nothing here, right? Like, there is nothing here. There is nothing here. There is nothing here. All right. And so that what that tells you is like, it's really just this. It's really just this, you know, or that, or whatever. So yeah, hopefully that helps, because once you start to really understand the way that works, one, it helps you find a good fit, but then two, it helps you to really appreciate a good last versus a just okay last. Everyone claims that their boot or their last or their design is like incredible, right? They all want to sell their product. But once you start studying that stuff and all the nuances of the human foot, which is a biomechanical object, which is constantly changing, like your hand, right? Like it's not static. Like, I mean, everything in your body moves, right? But not like, I mean, your femur just kind of like stays there and it moves around, right? But like, this is insane. Like, all the little bones and ligaments and stuff, it's like constantly changing. And throughout the day, it's like swelling and contracting. And like, I can like literally like pull my joints apart a bit, you know, it's just crazy, right? And so, you know, knowing that your foot's like that really makes you appreciate guys who are doing bespoke work or made to measure work, like Gabbard from Creosote, or Brian the bootmaker from Roll Club. But any of these bespoke brands, like, you know, John Lobb, you know, if you go to Gaziano and Gerling or something like that, George Cleverly, if they're going to do like a made to measure for you or a bespoke, if you were to be able to, I haven't done it, but just looking at a lot of videos on the internet, if you look at a last, say by John Lobb, and you look at all the little nuances, and then you go look at a last from just like your average boot place, it's a good boot place, you know, like Truman or Parkhurst or Red Wing, or honestly even White's, you know, Viberg, like, you'll just start to see major differences. Like, if you look at a last from Hiro Yanagamachi, there's 1,000 nuances on that last that you just don't see on a mass production boot last. You know, so does it need to be that to be a good fit? No, it doesn't. But knowing what to look for, like, there's certain points that like a good last maker, a good boot maker is going to take into account to give you a good fit. That's just going to increase your appreciation all the more for the craft. And then it'll help you know, like, if it fits good, why does it fit good? It's not sizing. Like, it is sizing. Like, you got to get the size right. But so often people are like, oh, dude, it fits better because I went a half size up. And it's like, yeah, like, probably. But honestly, like, something that's a little off, hear me out, something that's a little off in size, maybe you're a half size too big. A boot that's a half size too big, but it's a last that has a lot of good anchor points, it's going to fit you better than something that's technically your right size, but it just doesn't have those anchor points. So you think about that for a little bit. People focus so much on size, and you should, but it's like, I would, you know, 10 out of 10 times rather have something that's like a half size too big, but it's got those anchor points, so I know I can make it fit just the way it should, than something that's kind of a blob of a last. It doesn't have any of the right contours for your foot, and everyone's foot's different, so that changes person to person, but it doesn't have the right contours, but it's technically the right size. You know, the manufacturer's like, dude, if you go half down from your Brannock, it's going to be dead nuts. It's going to be a perfect fit. And guess what? You put it on and it's just like, it's not a perfect fit, because this last it's not securing my foot at the parts where it should. Like, it's just not a good last for my foot, or maybe sometimes not for anyone's foot. So yeah, I explained stuff like the 310. The 310 has some really good anchor points, and yet it looks like probably one of the most ill-fitting boots you can imagine just by the look of it. But then once you get into the details, you're like, that's why. So anyways, hopefully that helps somebody, and it helps you appreciate the science and engineering that went into where your sandal makers are putting their straps. But until next time, let your boots, let your sandals, let everything take you to places more important than the things themselves. See you next time.